This video refers to three papers, which the first two are pretty much the same. The third one is a bit more amended, and they relate to the duty that philosophy has to the academic community and to really the wider society. If it is aware that there is in fact a powerful argument for the existence of God, then philosophy has a very unique responsibility to let the fellow academic departments know that's the case, and also to let the wider world know. In a sense, every academic department has a responsibility to ask as the very first question, is there a God? Because all academic work depends on the answer to that question. If there is a God, then you need to ask the question, has he revealed something to us? If he's revealed something to us, then all the academic knowledge that that department will be building upon will have as its foundation the revelation of God as it pertains to that academic discipline, whether it's psychology, biology, sociology, even town planning, geology. Everything will have some relationship to God's revealed truth. Obviously, if you come to the question, is there a God, and you say, no, there isn't a God, then you construct your academic knowledge without any reference to God's revelation, because you don't believe there's such a God. That fundamental question, is there a God, should be asked by every department. And in one sense, I would say every department in the nation has asked that question, but it hasn't been public about it, and the answer has always been no. And therefore, all academic disciplines in this nation, and I would say in nations around the world, assume there is no God and there's no revelation from him. However, if through modern miracles we now have the answer to the question, is there a God? And it's yes, because of modern miracles, suddenly that foundational question has a different answer. Now there's a revelation from God that we need to be looking at, and that should be the foundation for every subject in the academic community. That's a powerful change, and I believe in modern miracles we have that. I also explore that there is a personal side to this, which is that there is an eternity, that every human soul has, as it were, an eternal destiny. Either that destiny is with God or it is separated from God in eternal judgment. And in philosophy that's known as Pascal's wager. And if we have come to the conclusion that there is a God because of the evidence of modern miracles, then I would argue that Pascal's wager becomes Pascal's certainty. There's no longer any doubt there's a God, in which case we are faced with two choices. Either we believe in God and have eternal life, or we reject God and have eternal judgment. And if you're standing before your students and you know that there is a God because you've answered the question yes, and you know that those students are, as it were, undecided about whether God exists or not, you have a moral responsibility to lay out the evidence for God. That is why teachers have a very big responsibility. And it's incumbent on any teacher to answer that question at the very outset, is there a God? And if the evidence says there is, and I say modern miracles gives you that evidence, then you have responsibility to let your students know that this is the evidence for God. And then it's their responsibility, individually, to decide whether they want to act upon that evidence or not. But at least you as a teacher have discharged your responsibility. And so that's my challenge to the academic community, is that they should be acting as custodians of this information. And I put it in the form of a safeguarding issue, that as a matter of safeguarding, you ought to be informing your students of the evidence for God so that they can make an informed decision. So not only does the evidence for God determine what is the foundation for every academic discipline, it also determines what we should be saying to students with regard to their own personal response to God. Because ultimately the most important thing is for all of us to find eternal life. And teachers have a wonderful opportunity to present that evidence to their students. And I think that's what God is expecting from teachers. And that's what he's expecting from the academic community. Well, thank you for listening.